Hello viewers, as you are already aware that we do in-depth research on the important issues happening around the world. Therefore, to continue with our in-depth reports and to enhance your information and knowledge, we would like to point your attention on the horrific terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, on April 22, 2025, which claimed 26 innocent lives, primarily tourists, is an unforgivable testament to the Narendra Modi-led Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, government's catastrophic failure to safeguard India. Friends, before we start our in-depth report, we request you to patiently watch and hear this full report and also subscribe for more such in-depth reports. Friends, this bloodbath in Baisaran Valley, a serene tourist haven, was not a random act of violence but the inevitable outcome of the Modi government's deliberate negligence, gross incompetence, and dangerous obsession with divisive politics. From slashing security deployments in Kashmir to stifling recruitment for security forces, ignoring Chinese infiltration along India's borders, neglecting conflict zones like Manipur, and fueling religious polarization through complicity with pliant, Govt media, the Modi government has single-handedly created the conditions for this tragedy. Foreign media and public outrage on platforms like X amplify the undeniable truth. The Modi government is wholly responsible for the Pahalgam massacre and the broader erosion of India's security. The Modi government's reckless decision to gut security deployments in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly in vulnerable areas like Pahalgam, is nothing short of criminal. Despite the 2019 abrogation of Article 370, which was sold as a panacea for Kashmir's unrest, the region remains a tinderbox, with the government's policies exposing civilians to slaughter. X posts have erupted with fury, with one user declaring that national security under Modi is a farce, citing the replacement of seasoned troops with undertrained Agnivir recruits and a drastic reduction in military presence in the valley. Foreign media, including The Economist, has eviscerated the Modi government's claims of stabilizing Kashmir, labeling the Pahalgam attack a devastating blow to its hollow narrative. The attackers, armed with M4 carbines and AK-47s, operated with chilling ease, targeting victims based on religious identity, a detail that underscores the government's failure to maintain even basic checkpoints or patrols. The Agnipath scheme, a short-sighted policy prioritizing temporary recruits over professional soldiers, has left Kashmir's security infrastructure in tatters, rendering tourist hubs like Pahalgam defenseless against such atrocities. The Modi government's arrogance in assuming control over Kashmir without adequate forces is a betrayal of every Indian's safety. Equally damning is the government's refusal to address the recruitment crisis crippling India's security forces. The Agnipath scheme has not only demoralized existing troops but also deterred new aspirants, leaving the military and paramilitary forces understaffed and overstretched. This has had a direct impact on Kashmir, where the need for a robust, well-trained presence is non-negotiable. X-users have lambasted the government's failure to bolster forces, with one post asserting that Modi's policies have left terrorists free to roam while the government hides behind anti-Pakistan rhetoric. The Pahalgam attack required a level of preparedness that India's depleted forces could not deliver, a fact that foreign outlets like the New York Times have highlighted, noting the government's heavy-handed approach in Kashmir has fueled resentment without delivering security. Modi's obsession with symbolic defense deals has done nothing to address the ground reality of an underfunded, understaffed security apparatus. This recruitment paralysis is a self-inflicted wound that has left India exposed to terrorism, with Pahalgam as its tragic consequence. The Modi government's negligence extends beyond Kashmir to the alarming Chinese infiltration along India's northern borders, a threat it has consistently downplayed. Reports from foreign media including Reuters, have documented repeated Chinese incursions in Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh, with the People's Liberation Army establishing permanent structures in disputed areas. Yet, Modi's government has remained eerily silent, refusing to acknowledge the scale of this threat or bolster border defenses. This inaction has emboldened not only China but also terrorist groups operating in Kashmir, who exploit India's distracted and weakened security posture. The Pahalgam attack, occurring amidst these geopolitical failures, reflects a government too preoccupied with domestic vote banks to confront external threats. Modi's refusal to prioritize border security is a betrayal of India's sovereignty, leaving the nation vulnerable to both state and non-state actors. Modi's personal disengagement from India's conflict zones is a scandal in itself. While he delivered a bombastic speech in Bihar vowing to crush terrorists post-Pahalgam, his absence from Manipur, where ethnic violence has claimed over 200 lives since May 2023, exposes his cowardice and apathy. Modi has not set foot in Manipur, leaving its citizens to suffer under a governance void. X posts have condemned this neglect, with one user accusing Modi of allowing Manipur to burn while exploiting Kashmir's tragedies for votes. Foreign media, including Al Jazeera, have criticized Modi's selective engagement, noting his preference for electoral rallies over addressing crises. His decision to skip an all-party meeting after the Pahalgam attack, opting instead for a campaign event, drew scathing rebukes from opposition leaders like Siddaramaiah, who accused him of peddling lies over national security. Modi's absence from Kashmir's ground realities, coupled with his reliance on scripted optics, has eroded trust in his leadership. The Pahalgam attack is a direct result of a prime minister who prioritizes politics over the lives of Indians. The Modi government's complicity in stoking religious tensions, amplified by its lapdog, Govt media, is perhaps its most sinister failure. The BJP's electoral strategy hinges on demonizing Muslims and polarizing communities, a tactic that has created a toxic environment exploited by terrorist groups like the Resistance Front, TRF, which initially claimed the Pahalgam attack. Foreign media, including The Guardian, have condemned the BJP's post-Article 370 policies for alienating Kashmiris and fueling militancy. X-users have echoed this, with one post asserting that the Modi government, not Pakistan, is responsible for Pahalgam due to its divisive agenda. The government's failure to curb inflammatory media narratives, which paint Muslims as threats, has provided terrorists with propaganda to justify their violence. By prioritizing Hindu vote consolidation over social cohesion, the BJP has handed terrorists a playbook to exploit India's fractures. The Pahalgam attack, with its targeted killings, is a direct consequence of this poisonous polarization. Intelligence failures further expose the Modi government's incompetence. AIMIM leader Asaduddin Owaisi labeled the Pahalgam attack a monumental intelligence failure, a sentiment echoed by X-users who alleged deliberate negligence, pointing to Modi's cancellation of a Kashmir visit just before the attack yet failing to secure the area. Foreign media, including BBC, have questioned the government's ability to prevent such attacks, citing a pattern of lapses in Pulwama, Uri, and Pathankot. Instead of addressing these failures, the Modi government has deflected blame to Pakistan, suspending the Indus Waters Treaty in a theatrical display of strength. The Congress Working Committee rightly called this a cynical ploy to exploit tragedy for polarization, by politicizing terrorism rather than fortifying security. The Modi government has ensured that attacks like Pahalgam will recur, each one a stain on its legacy. The Pahalgam terrorist attack is a clarion call for accountability. The Modi government's slashing of security deployments, refusal to recruit adequate forces, silence on Chinese infiltration, neglect of conflict zones, and promotion of communal hatred have created a nation vulnerable to terrorism. Foreign media and ex-posts lay bare the public's outrage and the government's failures. Modi's rhetoric and diplomatic stunts cannot mask the blood on his hands, the blood of Pahalgam's victims, who paid the ultimate price for his government's betrayal. India deserves leadership that values lives over votes, security over slogans, and unity over division. The Modi government, unfit to protect its citizens, must answer for its crimes. The Pahalgam massacre is not just a tragedy. It is a verdict on a regime that has failed India at every turn. Our thoughtful viewers, we work hard to bring important issues and topics in crisp and time-saving manner before you. So please like, share and subscribe and motivate our team, and also comment your views on this important topic. Please visit our website VOPGLOBAL.org and raise your voice. Also associate with us by downloading your volunteer press card available on our website and share your views and news. Team Digital Media, Voice of the People International.